Okay guys, so this is our second video on the channel. Welcome back. And so let's quickly get into it. I don't want us to waste much time. So now that I've done this, the next thing we're going to want to do is put in a few text. We want to put in the title. We want to put in the title and all that, the title and the body. So the first thing I'm going to do is come to scene objects and obviously add something. So instead of using a normal button, we're going to be using letters. I'm sure you know of that. There are games where you can use letters as text, and so letters as buttons. So we're going to be using this bitmap text. Instead of using these ones here, we'll just create something from scratch. Choose the files, format device. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're just going to click apply. Let's click, oh sorry. One more thing, we have to change this, we have to change the name. So the name of this is going to be like game name. This is going to be our game name. Yeah, that should be good. And you're going to change the text that we are. You're going to change this text of this. Let's change it to our game name. Tommy Run. Increase the scale to something that makes sense, like 4. 4 should be big enough. Okay. So if you drag this in, it's going to look like this. And with that, I also realized that this is actually a bit too small. So let's increase the scale a little bit more. Let's increase it to 6 and see how that will run. Fun. This still looks somehow big. Okay, let's decrease this to 5. Okay, I feel like this is okay. Let's make this look good. Bring this to the middle. Okay, yes, it's in the middle. And also, I just noticed something. I just want to fix this real quick. Possibly this might actually be the reason for the issue we had in the last video. But let's see. So this one's completely aligned. Okay, that's good. So now this is there and this is also here. So the next thing we're going to do is make the buttons. In order to make the buttons, we're also going to be using letters like this. So rather than going here to create it again, we can just duplicate this. This is right here, Ctrl D. We duplicate it. I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. Okay, let's change this to play button. Okay, that's good. Duplicate this using Ctrl D, like I showed. Okay. This will be the setting button. Duplicate this as well using Ctrl D. And this should be the quit button. Okay, so let's edit it. Let's edit its properties. Change this to play. And reduce the text scale because this is not a title. We don't want it to be too big. Let's reduce it to 3. Okay, so now that this has been done, we're just going to move them into the game. Oh, damn. Okay, this is actually a bit too much. Let's remove that. It turns out the scale is too big, so we're just going to reduce that to 2 and see how it goes. Okay, 2 is better. So let's reduce the rest to 2. Okay, so that's that. We're going to put them into the game. And you're going to align them. Okay, so now that we have aligned the buttons, now that we have aligned the words we want to use as the buttons, we now want to turn them into buttons. So first we're going to do, we're going to make an object group. This is going to be useful. This is going to be useful further in the video, and you're going to see why. So let's just make these object groups buttons. Okay, no, that buttons. So we add this, and this. So now these are our buttons. Okay. I need for this. This is quite okay. Okay, so now that we have done that, okay, let's quickly run a preview. I want to check if the issue with the screen is solved. No, apparently it's not solved, but progress. Okay, so now that we have done this, we are going to okay. Now that I've done this, we're going to need to turn this into buttons. So first of all, whenever if you want to make a button, you just come here, click on the object, go to its properties, and go to behavior, and you add the behavior. Now, behavior is one of the most important things in gdevelop because they determine how every object in, well, obviously the game behaves. So we're just going to type button here, and you see this button state. That means you can use that object as a button. So we're just going to apply this to all the buttons. Okay, so now that we have applied that, all these three letters here, all these three words here, they are buttons, but they are not yet acting like buttons. If you run the preview, they're just going to be there, being normal, being boring. They are not going to act like buttons. So what we want to do is make them actually look like that. So we're going to go back into the properties panel and go to effects. What to go to effects? Right, add it to the effect. And that's all you have to do. Wait, now and you rename this. There isn't really a real need to rename it, but I feel like it's good to actually rename it and give them proper names. So we are going to rename that to highlight. You see, I'm just going to go show you a quick example of that. Okay, so as you can see, this button right here is now highlighted, the very button that I highlighted for. The very button that I added effect on. So we're going to do that for the rest of the buttons. Okay, so now that we have done that, all the buttons are going to have that on. But the issue now is that they are just there permanently. They don't serve a purpose. They don't actually feel like buttons. So that's where the event sheet comes in. We're going to add an event that is going to make these buttons actually look and behave like buttons. So right here, I'm just going to click on the condition. Basically, let me quickly explain this. Basically, it means the action can only happen when the condition is met. So I'm just going to add a condition. And remember I said this button group is going to be very useful. So this is the use here. You can apply events and conditions upon these three buttons right here because they are all inside this group. So if you want to add a property or something, a event to a large number of various assets, various similar assets. You put them into a group so that you can work with them properly. So we're just going to click on this and go to is hovered. Now, as you can see, this only shows up for button state. That's because of our behavior, the behavior that we added. So yeah, because of the fact we added the button state behavior, we now have access to all these other conditions, particularly for button states. And because they are for button state, it's going to apply to every button, to everything here, because they have the button state behavior on them. If I added this, it won't apply to this because it's not a button. So I'm just going to go with this is hovered. Now I'm going to press OK. You don't press invert condition. That is going to make it opposite. You press OK. You add an action. Go back to the buttons and you enable an object effect. You click on this, enable an object effect. I want to choose an effect. I'm going to choose an effect. Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I think I forgot something. Okay, so what the mistake I made is I forgot to rename. I forgot to rename them. They all have to be the same name. They all have to be the same name. So just name it to highlight. Okay, so we're back. I've corrected the error. So I'm going to come back here to add the action. Go to buttons. Enable an object effect. Then I'm going to choose an effect, which is highlight, as you can see here. Because every single one of them has an highlight effect. We're going to press that. And put this to yes. We're going to need to put this to yes. So that whenever the button is hovered, the highlights are enabled. But that isn't enough. We also need to implement a condition where the highlights are not enabled while they are not hovered. So we're just going to take this and I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it and create a whole new event and paste our condition right here. Sorry. And paste our condition right here. So once we have pasted that in, you come here as well. You also copy this and paste it here. So now that we have done this, we are going to invert this condition. Rather than saying when button is not offered, we are just going to simply invert the condition so that now this one means button is offered, this one means the buttons are not offered. And we're going to put this to no because we want an opposite. We want this to be the opposite of this. So now whenever the buttons are offered, the highlights are going to be enabled, and whenever the buttons are not offered, the highlights will not be enabled. So now let's run the preview and see what we have achieved. Okay, so as you can see, the highlights are not enabled, but whenever I hover over them, they are enabled. They now feel more like buttons. So that is very good right there. That's very good. So unfortunately, this right here is going to have to be the end of our videos. I hope you enjoyed the tutorials, and I promise you that soon enough the video should be far longer so that it will serve better purpose to you guys. So please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and put on that notification button so that you can receive more updates on Tommy Run. I'll see you in the next video.